And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? I tell you every day what a great, fantastic show we're going to have. Well, today's no different than any other day. We're going to have a great, fantastic show for you. We're going to talk about what's in the news. There's a lot in the news, by the way. New legislation, the IRS loses, and we're going to continue our segment, the rest of the story. That's the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Today's story is going to be Androcles Revisited. Yeah, we'll talk about that. You'll enjoy it. Matter of fact, you'll be surprised at the end, just like you always are. You know what? And then I'm going to talk about better email solutions. I'll talk to you also about the best way to email your resume. We'll talk about some job interviews, sneaky tricks, and I'm going to talk to you about a lot more than that. And then after that, we'll have our own Joel Saltzman here, Dr. Wireless. He'll be here to talk about new wireless technology news and much, much more than that, I can guarantee you. The man has got a phenomenal armamentarium of information when it comes to wireless news and opportunities, so you don't want to miss that. Well, I want you to know that at, let's see here, what time is this? Looks like 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, and it's currently 61 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Rained like cats and dogs this morning, so we'll see what actually transpires with that. Right now, though, I want to talk to you about the news, and right up at the top, Trump says for the first time, I think Russia hacked the Dems. Yeah. Well, President-elect Donald Trump speculated today that U.S. intelligence agencies might have leaked details about a classified briefing with him that included unsubstantiated allegations that Russia had collected compromising sexual and financial information about him. Well, he said any such information was not true. It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It just did not happen. I think it's pretty sad when intelligence reports get leaked out to the press, Trump said. His comments marked his latest round of insults thrown at U.S. intelligence agencies, the same agencies that he will have to rely on to help him make major national security decisions once he takes the White House next week. Trump was referring to a dossier that contained unproven information about close coordination between Trump's inner circle and the Russians, including details about Russian hacking into Democratic accounts, as well as unsubstantiated claims about unusual sexual activities by Trump, attributed to anonymous sources. The Associated Press has not authenticated any of the claims. Well, yesterday, FBI Director James Comey refused to say whether the FBI was investigating any possible ties between Russia and Trump's presidential campaign, citing a policy not to comment on what the FBI might or might not be doing. There is nothing to suggest that the intelligence agencies told news outlets that a summary of the dossier was included in Trump's classified briefing last week about Russian election meddling. President Barack Obama was also briefed on the dossier last Thursday. Well, you know what? You've seen it. It's all in the news. Let's not give it any more time than what we really already have to do. It's a crazy, crazy world that we're in. You know, it's the president-elect against the press, and it's the press against him, and it's the Russians against everybody. Well, you know what? Combative Trump concedes that Russia's role is in the election was as hacking. Here's the thing. In a combative and freewheeling news conference, President-elect Donald Trump said for the very first time today that he accepts Russia was behind the election, a year hacking of Democrats that roiled the White House race. Looking ahead, he urged Congress to move quickly to replace President Barack Obama's signature health care law and insisted anew that Mexico will pay the cost of a border wall. The 1-hour-long spectacle in the marbled lobby of Trump's Manhattan skyscraper was his very first news conference since winning the election in early November, and the famously unconventional politician demonstrated that he had not been changed by the weight of his victory. He defiantly denied reports that Russia had collected compromising personal and financial information about him, lambasting the media for peddling fake news and shouting down a journalist from CNN which reported on the matter. Now, his family and advisors clapped and cheered him throughout the entire thing. Trump's transition has been shadowed by U.S. intelligence assessments that Russia not only meddled in the election, but did so to help him defeat Democrat Hillary Clinton. After spending weeks challenging that idea, Trump finally accepted at least part of the intelligence conclusions. As far as hacking, I think it was Russia, Trump said quickly, adding that other countries and other people also hack U.S. interests. Still, he kept needling the intelligence agency, saying it would be a tremendous blot on their record if officials were leaking information from his classified briefings. Well, you know what? If it's true, it is a tremendous blot, and that's for sure. Well, here's some big news for you. Trump is leaving his global business to be run by his sons. Breaking with presidential precedent, Donald Trump said today that he will venture or continue to profit from his global business empire after he enters the White House this month. The Trump Organization, which will be run by the president-elect's adult sons, and a longtime company executive, will pursue new deals in the United States, but will not enter new foreign arrangements while he's in office, his lawyer said at a news conference. Trump will put his business assets in a trust, but will hand over the management of his international real estate development, property management, and licensing company based in New York, said the lawyer. Trump and the company said that the company are taking steps to assure Americans that he is not exploiting the office of the presidency for his personal benefit, said Sherry Dillon of the firm Morgan, Lewis & Baucus. Yet, the arrangement, which tracks falsely with plans Trump has described in recent weeks, falls short of calls by some ethics experts in the Office of Government Ethics for him to sell off his businesses and put the proceeds in a blind trust overseen by an independent manager. Firewalls work in businesses, not in families, said Danielle Bryan, executive director of the Project on Government Oversight. Trump's plan doesn't prevent his business interests from benefiting him or his family while he's in office or interfering with his presidential duties. Dillon said that the company will add an ethics advisor to its management team who must approve deals that could raise concerns about conflicts, and the company plans to donate money spent by foreign governments at his hotels to the United States Treasury, she said. Trump himself was breezier in his comments. He said U.S. conflict of interest restrictions don't apply to presidents, and I could actually run my business and run government at the same time. But I don't like the way that looks, he said. My two sons, who are right here, Don and Eric, are going to be running the company. They're not going to discuss it with me. I hope in the end of 8 years, I'll come back and say, oh, you did a good job. Otherwise, if they did a bad job, I'll say, you're fired. Yeah. Well, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about Trump's pick for the top diplomat, and it takes a tough line on Moscow. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. You know, Trump's pick for the top diplomat takes a tough line on Moscow. Barraged by questions about Russia, Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of State promised a far more muscular approach toward the Kremlin today, abandoning much of the president-elect's emphasis on improving ties between the Cold War foes. Instead, Rex Tillerson suggested that the outcoming Obama administration responded too softly to Moscow's takeover of Ukrainian territory. The surprising shift in tone by Tillerson, a former ExxonMobil CEO and Russian Order of Friendship recipient, reflected the difficulty Trump will have in convincing Democrats and Republicans to broach a broad reapproachment with President Vladimir Putin's government. Calling Russia a danger to the United States, Tillerson said that he would keep U.S. sanctions in place and consider new penalties related to Russian meddling in the presidential election. Although he said he hadn't read last week's classified assessment by the United States intelligence community, Tillerson said that it was a fair assumption that Putin would have ordered the operation that purportedly included hacking propaganda and internet trolls to harm Hillary Clinton's candidacy and advance Trump's. But in a puzzling revelation, the oil man conceded he hadn't yet talked with Trump about a Russia policy. Russia today poses a danger, but it is not unpredictable in advancing its own interests. You know, Tillerson told the Senate Foreign Relations Committee he added that Trump's administration would be committed to the defense of America's NATO partners, an obligation the president-elect called into question during the campaign if allies failed to meet defense spending pledges. Well, we'll see what happens with that. It's got a ways to go. Things seem to be getting a little bit better, but you know what? We're going to see what actually takes place. And let's talk about Turkey. Turkey is bogged down in Syria as it realigns with Russia. Nearly 2 months into the assault, Turkey has become bogged down in an unexpectedly bloody fight to retake the Islamic State group's last stronghold in northern Syria. It has been forced to pour in troops, take the lead in the battle from its Syrian allies, and reach out to Russia for aerial support. The fight for Al-Bab underscores the precarious path Ankara is treading with its foray into Syria. Aimed against both IS militants and Syrian Kurdish fighters, the assault on the town had already driven a wedge between Turkey and the United States. And now the realignment toward Moscow, which supports the government in Syria's civil war, further tests Ankara's alliance, both with Washington and with the Syrian opposition. The battle itself has proven grueling. Nearly 50 Turkish soldiers have been killed in this Syria operation, most of them since the Al-Bab assault began in mid-November, including 14 killed in a single day. The militants have dug in, surrounding the town with trenches, lining streets with landmines, and carrying out painful ambushes and car bombings against the besieging forces. Each time Turkish-backed Syrian opposition fighters have thrust into the city, they've been driven out. More than 200 civilians are believed to have been killed since the attack began on November the 13th. Mud and cold rain have only made it more of a slog. The battle for Al-Bab has been mostly about killing civilians and destroying the city, whether by Daesh or the Turks, said Mustafa Sultan, a resident of the Al-Bab and a media activist who has been covering the fight. He used the Arabic acronym for IS. The town is about half destroyed. Daesh takes cover in hospitals, schools, and these end up getting targeted, he said. The Turkish military says it takes great care not to harm civilians, halting operations that could endanger non-combatants. Well, they're getting killed anyway, it seems, doesn't it? Yeah, it sure does. I'll tell you that. Well, relatives of the slain churchgoers confront the gunman for the very last time. One by one, family members of 9 slain black parishioners confront Dylan Roof for the last time today, shouting at him, offering forgiveness, and even offering to visit him in prison as he awaits execution for the slaughter. The 22-year-old avowed white supremacist refused to meet their gaze and simply stared ahead, his head tilted down slightly, as it had been for much of his trial. Dylan, Janet Scott said, quietly as she started speaking. Dylan, she said, her voice rising. Toward the end of her remarks, she said, I wish you would look at me, boy. Scott, an aunt of 26-year-old Twanza Sanders, the youngest victim killed in the massacre, demanded that Roof look at her as she talked about her nephew's great big heart, which could not be donated because of the police investigation. The final statements came a day after jurors sentenced an unprecedented Ruth to death. The gunman had one final opportunity to ask for mercy, but instead told jurors he still felt like I had to do it. Wow. Can you imagine? I just don't know where that goes. Well, let me leave you with this. 6 VW employees are indicted in emissions scandal. VW is fined $4.3 billion. 6 high-level Volkswagen employees from Germany were indicted in the U.S. Today in the VW emissions cheating scandal, while the company itself agreed to plead guilty to criminal charges and pay $4.3 billion, by far the biggest fine ever levied by a government against an automaker. Wow. Can you imagine? Well, that takes care of the news, or the news that we can get to today. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'm going to talk about something a lot more pleasant. We're going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case that they lost is a tax court reverses itself on filed when mailed rule for motions. I'll tell you all about that as soon as we get back. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. association with the nationally syndicated Celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 61 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's the high for today. Boy, I'll tell you, it rained all night last night and all morning this morning. Now the sun is out there. It's clear. It's beautiful. But I guess around midnight tonight, it's going to start up again tomorrow and go through the weekend. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. Well, if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, 47 degrees and mostly cloudy. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, sitting back and listening to our show, it's 44 degrees and it's overcast. Yeah. But right now, let's talk about something a little bit more pleasant. Let's talk about the IRS loses. And the first case up, as I told you before, is a tax court reverses itself on the filed when mailed rule for motions. So here's the deal. A taxpayer's petition to go to tax court was rejected by the court for a technical reason. Within the 90 days allowed to appeal, the taxpayer mailed in a motion seeking reconsideration, but it was delivered to the court after the deadline. So here's the conflict. In an earlier case, the tax court held that the tax court's filed when mailed rule that applies to IRS filings did not apply to such court motions. Now, a court of appeals reversed, but that bound the tax court only in that one appeal circuit. So here's the new ruling. The tax court will now accept the filed when mailed rule for such motions nationwide, and the taxpayer's case is going to be accepted. Well, here's one more for you. The IRS loses. Mixed motives behind a trust saves it from the IRS. Here's the deal. Jacob Everson received a $700,000 tax bill from the IRS that he contested. At about the same time, he created a trust for his children to which he transferred his home and $200,000. Now, the IRS said that the trust was set up to avoid the tax claim and so was invalid against that tax claim. Eversoft, who was age 68, said that the trust was an estate planning device to keep his assets from his estranged wife and be sure that it went to his children. So he went to court. This is what the judge said. Now, both motives doubtless existed, but at the time, the estate planning motive predominated, as shown by the fact that Eversoft left more than $700,000 outside the trust. So its assets are beyond the IRS reach, which is, just the IRS. It's not a matter of how rich or poor you are. It's just that they just try to get away with it. Yeah. Well, here's when the IRS conceded. You heard me talk about it many, many times. They only concede when they're pretty doggone sure that they can't prevail in a tax court. So it's not a matter of being reasonable. Here's this case. It's ignorance of rehabilitation tax credit excuses the late application for that credit. So here's the case. A property owner rehabilitated a certified historical structure in a manner that qualified for the rehabilitation tax credit of up to 20% of rehabilitation cost, but failed to apply for the credit until after the deadline for doing so. Why? The owner hadn't even known that the credit even existed and applied for it only after learning of it. Here's what the IRS ruling was. An extension of the deadline can be granted if the taxpayer acted reasonably and in good faith. Now, that was the case here, so a late application for the credit is going to be allowed. And that's the way it ought to be, right? Just makes good common sense. Absolutely. Well, here we talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS, and it is absolutely like the Twilight Zone. Well, now these are not tax court cases, but this is information. It's information. You've heard me say it many times. Information is worth just tons and tons of money. It's knowing how the IRS responds to things and why they do things and when they do things. That's what gives you the edge. It's knowledge. So let me give you a couple of examples of that. When the IRS wants to find out what your credit report says about you. Well, it is permissible under the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act for the IRS to request your credit report if you owe back taxes. Now, the Collection Division of the IRS routinely orders credit reports to determine what assets a delinquent taxpayer owns or to confirm the financial information provided by a taxpayer who requests an installment agreement or an offer in compromise. But you need to be careful here. Not paying tax because you don't have the money generally is not a crime, but submitting false financial information to the IRS is, and is punishable by some time away from home. So you want to be careful. How about this? Contesting the decision of a revenue agent after a tax examination. Yeah, well, you know what? The most common method of protesting adjustments proposed by a revenue agent is to ask that your case be considered by the IRS Office of Appeals. Now, the IRS Office of Appeals is not an independent agency. Officers work for the IRS, but most times its staffers make an effort to resolve cases to the mutual satisfaction of both taxpayers and the IRS. But you got to be careful here. An appeals officer is permitted to reopen an issue that was agreed on during the examination, and he or she may raise new issues if the potential effect on the tax liability is going to be material. So your best approach? Consider not taking your case to the IRS Office of Appeals if you know that the revenue agent failed to develop a significant issue that could cost you more money than you might save in appeals on your other issues. Now, just keep that in mind. That's a legitimate concern. People sometimes get a little greedy and they want to just go for the jugular with the IRS. Big mistake. You don't want to be doing that. Now, we're going to take another short break. When we come back, boy, I've got some great information for you. I'm going to be talking about better email solutions, and the best way to email your resume, and many other things in addition to that. So you don't want to go away. We've got some great common sense approaches for you, and we're going to talk about those right after these brief messages. So don't go away, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where it's 3:33 p.m. Pacific time, and it's still 61 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, and it's still on its way down to 46 degrees. But you know what? If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Paris, France, whoa, you're lucky, and it's 45 degrees and it's overcast. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 30 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in either place, well, it's 12:34 a.m. tomorrow morning. So you know what? You probably, if you're listening to the show, you've been up a long time. Time for you to close your eyes and go to sleep. Well, you know what? Listen to the rest of the show first, then close your eyes and go to sleep. That makes more sense for me anyway. Now, you know what? I want to talk to you about some common sense approaches to emails. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is better email solutions, or actually better email solicitations. You know, be sure that your email solicitations include postal contact information. If they don't, your company could face stiff fines under the Controlling Assault of Non-Solicited Pornography and Marketing Act. That's canned spam. And the act requires that all unsolicited email include the sender's valid physical postal address. It imposes penalties for each violation. Get this, up to $11,000. $1,000. Now, be especially careful if you use a third-party email provider. You may still be held liable if the provider fails to include contact information on your email. So don't make that mistake. You know what? Simple stuff. Be careful. Dot all the I's. Cross all the T's. How about this? The best way to email your resume. Yeah, you know what? Think about it. Don't attach your resume to an email unless you're asked to submit it that way. Instead, copy and paste it into the body of your email message. Why? Like most firms, employment agencies are reluctant to download documents that might carry computer viruses. So be sure to correct any type styles that might be lost in the copy and paste process, such as boldface or underlined text. You know, get it out there, and if you want them to see it, you got to put it in the body of the email. You can't make it an attachment. Just keep that in mind. Nothing fancy, just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Just like Sergeant Joe Friday would say, on Dragnet. Well, how about this? Job interviewers' sneaky tricks. Now, you're going to find this a little interesting, I think. So let's get to it. You know that job hunters beware. Questions that seem like friendly small talk during or immediately after a job interview might be part of the screening process. If the interviewer notes that your previous places of employment and says, "I can understand why you left. I've heard complaints about the upper management there," don't take the bait. Be either positive or neutral when asked about your relationship with previous employers, coworkers, neighbors, family, or anyone else. If an interviewer asks, "What do you do for fun?" avoid giving answers that center entirely on you. Rather than say, "I like to golf and watch baseball on television," say instead, "I like to golf with good friends and watch baseball games with my children." The interviewer may be trying to determine if you enjoy socializing. The appropriate answers indicate that you are more likely to work well with others. You know what? How about this? Over 50 and out of work? Beat the age barrier. This is a whole new segment that you want to be thinking about. That's for sure. You know, finding a new job isn't easy. It can be especially hard for people over 50 years old because of the age discrimination. Employers tend to believe younger candidates are more familiar with new technology and they can pay younger employees less money. Discrimination is generally subtle and not always deliberate, but the result is brutal. It takes people over age 50 nearly 40% longer to find new jobs as those under 35. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967 was intended to protect most people age 40 and older from discrimination in hiring, layoffs, salary, promotion, assignments, and training. Victims of age discrimination can sue employers or prospective employers, but these cases are difficult to prove. The employer can say that the candidate simply wasn't the best person for the job. The best strategy is to outsmart age discrimination. And here's how you do it. You know, confront technology skills and stereotypes head on. When a 25-year-old applies for a job, everyone assumes that he or she has computer skills. Now, when a 55-year-old applies, many assume that he or she doesn't. So here's some self-defense for you. Mention technical expertise during interviews. On your resume, list computer programs that you know or any special certifications that you may have. Here's an example of that. Let's just say Ken, 56. Agreed to take early retirement after 27 years at his job. For 4 years, he searched unsuccessfully for a similar management post. At my suggestion, he got his project management certification. Then he positioned himself as an up-to-date telecommunications manager with extensive experience. Now, he has a great new job. Well, how about select appropriate companies and industries? You know, if possible, visit the company to get a sense of its culture. If it doesn't feel like a good fit, look someplace else. If you've been laid off, you know, and that happened to so many people from your youth-focused kind of industry, Emphasize your transferable skills, or if necessary, leave the industry. The technology, telecommunications, and advertising sectors tend to favor younger hires. The banking, government, and utility sectors frequently hire younger employees and promote from within. An older job applicant in these industries should angle for a consultant's role rather than a promotion track position. Each year, AARP compiles a list of the top companies for older workers. Now, to see the most recent list, just go to www.aarp.org/money/best_employers. Now, industries with the best opportunities now include teaching, healthcare, and retail. So here's the deal. Dress for success. You know what? Match the culture that you're hoping to join, but also look sharp. Clothes are only as good as the body wearing them. Get in shape. Managers want to hire people who look like they could run and win the race. Show flexibility. A common stereotype holds that an older worker thinks that his way is the only way to do things and that he won't even consider new ideas. So here's a self-defense. Design a resume that reflects a range of positions and changing responsibilities. This is especially important if you have worked for the same firm for many, many years. The example of this is mention occasions when you implemented cutting-edge strategies. That's what you want to do. Then play the role of possibility thinker. In interviews, mention a possible scenario and run through the company's options should it actually occur. When young people do this, they come off as loose cannons trying to fix things that aren't broken. When older, more experienced people do it, they appear adaptable and innovative. Yeah. And don't abbreviate your resume. Contrary to standard advice, some older applicants include only their most recent experience. Let your resume run 2 or 3 pages, so long as each description is succinct and demonstrates your accomplishments. Don't try to hide your age by withholding employment dates. Emphasize how your experience can help firm deal with problems. Now, for information on your rights, just go to AARP. That's at 888-687-2277 or their website at www.aarp.org/money/work. Or go to the U.S. Administration on Aging. That's at 202-619-0724. And the website is www.aoa.gov. Yeah. And then there's one last one I want to give you here, and that's the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. You can reach them at 800-669-4000. Yeah, that's 800-669-4000. And their website, www.eeoc.gov. Now, we're going to take another short break. When I come back, though, because we've been talking about resumes and interviews and all of those kinds of things, well, I'm going to kind of twist this thing around a little bit. I want to talk to you about the best places to retire. You're going to be surprised, and you'll be pleased. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:47 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's still 61 degrees. Hasn't started going down yet. But now it says it's on its way to 34 degrees. That's going to get doggone cold here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. But I can tell you that if you're listening to our show and you're in London, England, it's 41 degrees and it's clear. And if you're in Vienna, Austria, it's 23 degrees and it's snowing right now. So give that some thought as you listen to the show. But right now, you know what? I started this segment off with an ocean liner because I want to talk about you and retirement. And I want to talk a little bit about the best places to retire. So let's do this a little bit. You know, if relocation is part of your plan for retirement, don't rush into it. Before making a decision, consider the 4 C's that make a place suitable for your particular lifestyle. First, crime. Is the community safe? And how about climate? What kind of weather and seasonal changes do you enjoy? Don't assume that the place that you love to visit in summer will be equally agreeable in the winter. And how about cost of living? Can you afford to live there? Can you find work, business opportunities there if planning on a post-retirement career? And how about culture? Do the local residents share any of your interests where people are retiring to right now? So here's the deal. Let's talk about the Northwest. Eugene, Oregon, located 110 miles from Portland. It's close to the ocean and the mountains. It has a moderate year-round climate and offers a variety of outdoor activities, including world-class skiing, river rafting, hiking, and fishing. Local colleges provide great continuing education programs. The drawbacks, though, occasional air quality problems, above average living costs, and including taxes and medical expenses. Then there's Medford, Oregon. Located about 170 miles from Eugene, Medford is a small, laid-back town with plenty of outdoor recreational opportunities, including golfing, skiing, fishing, or just enjoying the mountains of our picturesque Oregon coast. The world-renowned annual Shakespeare Festival in Ashland runs from mid-February through the end of October. And how about other advantages? Below average living costs, affordable housing, part-time jobs, and startup entrepreneurial business opportunities. Yeah, those are the things you want to be looking at. And then you know what? You go a little north. Bellingham, Washington. About halfway between Seattle and Vancouver, it offers outdoor recreation in the nearby Pacific Ocean and Cascade Mountains, including fishing, skiing, kayaking, and golf, as well as many trails for jogging and walking while enjoying the spectacular natural beauty of the Pacific Northwest. This small, relaxed community also offers the cultural amenities of a university town, Western Washington University. But there are some drawbacks. It's very wet, 170 rainy days a year, and limited job opportunities. Well, you know what? Let's move clear to the other side of the country and a little south. Let's talk about Florida. Ocala, Florida, actually, located in north central Florida, about 40 miles from Gainesville. It's one of the world centers for thoroughbred horse breeding. It offers plenty of outdoor recreational activities without crowds or tourists. You know what? Other advantages there? Below average housing and living costs. There are some drawbacks, though. There's no public transportation, and it's got limited shopping. And then, of course, there's Kissimmee. Yeah. Located in central Florida, it's 18 miles from Orlando, so your grandchildren won't need any urging to come visit you. Apart from nearby Disney World and other attractions, Kissimmee offers boating and fishing on the chain of lakes and lots of wildfire. The drawback? Floods of tourists. I mean, tons of tourists. Now let's move west. Let's talk about Las Vegas. The self-styled entertainment capital has no income tax, inheritance tax, or estate tax. Las Vegas has more than 320 days a year of sun and low humidity, year-round golf and tennis, and nearby state and national parks, and skiing, hiking, and canoeing. There are also many cultural offerings, along with excellent health care and senior activities. But there are some drawbacks. July and August temperatures, it can often exceed 105 degrees, and there's heavy traffic, and it's got a high crime rate. So you want to be careful of those things, but still a fantastic place. How about let's talk about the Southwest. Let's talk about Austin, Texas, just a little bit east of Las Vegas. The state capital of Texas is a rapidly growing metropolis with year-round outdoor recreation, a rich cultural environment, and impressive healthcare facilities. The drawback? Hot summer. Boy, we're talking about hot summers, yeah. And then there's Brownsville, Texas, located in the lower Rio Grande Valley in southeast Texas. It has a Mexican heritage and a multicultural lifestyle. The cost of living is well below average. And Matamoros, Mexico, with even lower prices, is a much larger city within walking distance of Brownsville. And there's some other advantages. Superb hunting, fishing, and exceptional bird watching. The drawbacks here? Hot, humid summers, heavy cross-border traffic, and a high crime rate, particularly car theft. So you want to be careful. Then there's Las Cruces, New Mexico. Located in the southern border of the state, it's about 45 miles from El Paso, Texas. Las Cruces is surrounded by fabulous landscapes, including the Oregon Mountains, the Chihuahua Desert, and the Rio Grande. It offers great entertainment, arts, recreation, and cultural attractions, beautiful weather, wonderful shopping and dining, and all at affordable prices. The drawback? Springtime dust storms. Yep, sounds like everything has some kind of drawback, right? Well, let's talk about retirement abroad. You know what? If you don't mind a major cultural change and really want to stretch your retirement dollars, consider moving abroad. Let's start off with Mexico. You know what? Some of the places attracting an increasing number of Americans, including Tijuana, comfortably close to San Diego, and Rosarito, about 200 miles down the Pacific coast. 1,000 miles further south is Puerto Vallarta, a charming central resort. Costa Rica, San Jose, the country's capital, has much to offer, including a climate milder than Florida's and lower crime rate of any foreign community that's popular among U.S. expatriates and friendly people, most of whom speak English. And then there's the Bahamas. Nassau, a tropical paradise, is now an offshore banking haven, affecting an increasing number of retirees. You don't need to worry about learning a new language in this English-speaking nation, but you got to be careful. Medicare will not pay benefits if living in a foreign country, so consider how you're going to pay for that health care. And then the relocation decision. Even if a particular community seems ideal at first sight, don't buy until you've spent some time at that site on several occasions and during different seasons. If it still appeals to you, well, rent for a year before you buy a new home to make sure that you are at the right place. That's the right way. Don't ever forget it. Now, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, and he's going to be talking about new wireless technology and the deals that are available out there. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Joel after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:58 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 61 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's been that for a while. It's on its way down to 47 degrees. I want to tell you, last night rained cats and dogs out here. Animals were lining up 2 by 2. We're trying to catch the mosquitoes before they got on board. But it's really nice, beautiful right now. But it's supposed to get rainy again tonight and over the weekend. So I can tell you this, though. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Cleveland, Ohio, I'm sorry about that, it's 55 degrees and it is raining. But you know what? If you want some good weather, go to Torrance, California, where our own Dr. Wireless is at. It's 61 degrees and partly cloudy. And you know what? Maybe even surfable. You know what? Here we are with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, you got your feet wet yet?
Not today, not surfable today. It was victory at sea out there. It was hard onshore winds and white capping and totally ugly.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. You know what? What the heck are you doing living out there? You know, the last few times I've asked you if you got your feet wet, it's been no.
Well, I did yesterday.
Oh, okay, but I didn't ask you yesterday.
Well, I know.
Yesterday, you got to be kidding. And it was raining cats and dogs yesterday. Really?
It sure was. It sure was. I got wet before I got wet.
Rain doesn't stop you, does it?
No, it's just it's no obstacle, actually. It doesn't really matter. Just, when you're getting out of water and getting into the car and trying to get into dry clothes, it's challenging, but that's it.
Yeah, wet is wet.
But boy, do we have stuff going on, Robert. It's unbelievable.
Let's get to it.
Every week I talk to you, it's just craziness.
Well, let's get to it, buddy.
All right. Well, let me, as our friend John Legere at T-Mobile would say, Dumb and Dumber, a.k.a. AT&T and Verizon, both just raised their fees again. I don't know if you heard about this, but in case of AT&T, what they've done is for everybody on their grandfathered unlimited data plan, not the one associated with DirecTV or Uverse, but their old unlimited data plan, they just raised it $5 starting in March. So
when they do that, though, how about people that already have an agreement or a thing? Do they do this universally and everybody gets tagged, or the people that have a current contract stay with their old contract?
Well, most of these people are all grandfathered, so their contracts, went away a long, long time ago. And these are the numbskulls who don't know any better and don't know that T-Mobile's got unlimited data. Verizon's got plans with so much data. They don't realize they're being throttled at 22 gigs. And before that, they were being throttled at 5 gigabytes until the FCC complained. But it boggles my mind. So it's just the people that are on these plans that are old, the unlimited, because they quit offering unlimited data 5 years ago. They just began again when they bundled it with the DirecTV and the Uverse. So it just means $5 more for those people. But at the same time, the company waives early termination fees for any customers that decide to leave AT&T, or they call it the Death Star, within 60 days of the price hike. So the beauty of it is, this is what I call the get-out-of-jail-free card. Anybody under any kind of obligation can get out because they're raising the rate. And so what I'm saying, they'll continue to throttle unlimited data at 22 gigabytes. And so that's the deal with AT&T. The deal on the Verizon is they changed one of their programs and raised the fee from $20 to $30. Well, that's an Apple upgrade program.
Yeah.
But how about some good news? That's the bad news. The good news is T-Mobile did something pretty darn crazy. They're pushing those new one plans in the worst way and trying to get people to move off their simple choice plans. And they eliminated the simple choice plans previously, but there was a little outcry, so they brought them back. And they told me not to, promote them, but, if anybody wants them, they're still there. Well, they're doing away with them again this time, but they're making it much more compelling for people to move to these unlimited plans. Here's how. If you're on a 2 gig plan or 6 gig plan, whatever, and this is true for every carrier, you get your bill, you get your fees and the surplus fees and the FCC fees and the fee for the deaf and the blind and the dumb and the taxes, and there's always 10 to 15% of fees on your bill. T-Mobile just said, you know what, we're eating fees, $40 a month per user. on a 4-line plan, for example, you're looking at 4 people, unlimited everything, including 4G data for $160 out the door. No fees, no taxes. One person, $70. 2 people, $120. No fees, no taxes, no PUC fees, recovery fees, all that nonsense. Gone. That's huge.
It's not only huge, it's simple. It's sort of like the KISS principle, isn't it? Keep it simple, stupid.
It is. Keep it stupid, simple, and they will come. Because that's the reason that people always say to me, they go, okay, Joel, well, T-Mobile, what's it going to cost me? I need 4 lines. I go, $160. Well, they go, well, what? How about with taxes and fees? And, well, you know what? It's different in every single city because every city has their hooks into the tax. Mm-hmm. So I can't tell people, okay, well, it's going to be $17.42, sir. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is the whole beauty of that. There is no surprises. You know exactly to the penny what you're paying. And then, when you do that auto-pay business, which I love, you don't have to worry about paying the bill. Mm-hmm. You know exactly to the penny what's getting paid. So, fantastic stuff. Anybody who wants information on that, we have that on our website, www.drwireless.com, under T-Mobile. And there's a great argument. AT&T's raising their rates, Verizon's raising their rates. T-Mobile just lowered their rates by eliminating all these fees and taxes. So it's only on the one rate. It isn't on their other plans, but I suspect everybody's going to be switching to these plans because who doesn't want unlimited data with no fees?
Oh, yeah.
Am I right?
Yes, you are right. If you're using a lot of data, right?
Doesn't matter because when you do the math, the cheapest plan T-Mobile offers today is $50. $50 is going to get you unlimited voice, unlimited text, unlimited 2G data with 2 gigabytes of 4G. Okay? $50 versus $70, which gets you unlimited data. So normally you would say, okay, well, there's a $20 difference, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're paying 17% taxes on that 50, if that 50 ends up being $65 after taxes and fees and PUC
so
recovery
now you're talking
fees,
$5. Yeah, now you're talking $5. Yep, I sure do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you got a $5 difference, and you went from 2 gigabytes to unlimited 4G.
Yeah.
Wouldn't switch for that in a second.
Yeah, how is a guy going to know? I mean, I've heard you say so many times they make all these promises and then they throttle back and they don't tell you. You don't even know. How are you going to know?
Well, here's that great question. And that was the first when I heard all this stuff because they send me these memos, and obviously they're promoting it for new customers because they get paid for new customers. They pay me for new customers. They don't get paid for old customers that want to shave 20% off their bill.
Yeah.
But what they do is they have to, good faith, offer this to old customers. So I have already got the solution. I've got the link that you visit for people that are on T-Mobile's one rate right now that are paying taxes and fees and want to eliminate those taxes and fees March 1st. I can help them out. All they got to do is send me an email, joel@drwireless.com. How do I get rid of my taxes and fees? And I will explain it.
Hey, will that work?
But that's a great question. And so to answer your question, Robert, I didn't answer it fully.
Yeah.
You got to know about the promotion, which is the hard part. That's one of the benefits I offer versus dealing with these stores and retail folks is they don't really care whether their customers are saving money. If I can come back to you, 2 months after you sign up on a plan and say, oh, by the way, Robert, how would you like to eliminate all fees and taxes? Click on this link. It doesn't take any money out of my pocket. I'm a hero when I save people money.
Oh, sure.
So that's what I do for a living.
So to
answer your question, you got to know about it and know how to implement it, and that's where we come in.
So Joel, can you do that with my income taxes too?
No, you're on your own. You're the IRS dude. I can only tell you about my tip, which I already did, where if you get audited, provided you're not Donald Trump, you get audited, you ask them to change your office You changed your accountant to a different office. If you're in Orange County, you need to move all your folders and files to the LA office. And apparently they don't like having to do anything. When you pass the monkey to them and ask them to do something, a lot of times for me, they dismissed it. They said, we're going to let your filing stand after a second consideration.
That has worked for years. It's unbelievable that people haven't really caught on to it, but that has actually worked for years.
I didn't know about it. My new accountant had recommended it. I could replace my accountant. My first accountant used to cost me $20 just to park in his building for an hour. It was it was killing me.
You know what? I mean, you could buy wax for your board with that, right?
You could buy about 5 years worth. Anyhow, before I forget, let me give us our 10 free apps of the week.
Oh, yeah.
From our dear friends at Apple. I downloaded one of them. I haven't tried it yet. I'm going to be trying it as soon as I get a chance. And I think it was called Delete It or something, but it was for duplicate contacts.
Oh, I just got one, and it works great.
What did you get?
You know what? I think that's what it is. Delete.
I used Plaxo previously, and they had something called the Deduper.
I used to use Plaxo, and that was years ago, but not really anymore. Now, let's see if I can find this thing while we're talking. Of course, I had to mention that I had it, and now I've got to find it. So let's see here.
That's contagious. I just mentioned I had these 10 free great apps, and I can't find them.
Yeah, you know what?
Here they are. I got them. It's contagious.
Yeah, it's just, it's amazing. This why can't I find this doggone thing? I will find it, but it's in here, and it's like no duplications or no dupes or something like that.
While you're looking, I'll give you what I found.
Okay.
These are the 10 free apps of the week, and they're free today. They could start charging again tomorrow, but anybody who downloads them today will get them for free. There's something called Rocket Video for Google Cast. Mm-hmm. Unleash your Chromecast with Rocket Video Cast. With Rocket, you can browse the web and stream any video on the Chromecast attached TV. Okay, let's look.
And this one's called Cleanup Dupes.
Cleanup Dupes. The one I just downloaded, which is free, and it's normally, I think, only 99 cents, is called...
Yeah, this was free, too, by the way.
Oh, okay, good. I'll check it out. This one is called Delete Contacts. Pretty original.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good ones. And this one here, if you get it, it actually gives you another one that you can get for free that actually keeps track of your contacts. And as people change their contact information, like somebody changes something on Facebook or Twitter or changes any information,
an update option.
It updates it automatically.
That's great. Plaxo used to do that. That was really good. So let's see. I wasn't really impressed with too many of the freebies except for the Delete It. There was also one called, what was it, Scan or, GIFCon. There was one called GIFCon, which allowed you to convert GIFs into videos. Oh. So I thought that could be fun. And that one's normally 99 cents, so you save $1 on the deal. I thought the Delete It one was the only one that I was really interested in.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. When I first ran this dupe thing, I was shocked. I actually had 500 duplications.
Wow.
And it just got rid of all of the duplications. It asked me what I wanted to do, just get rid of them or merge them. And I said, well, I think I want to merge them just in case they have different information on them. And it got rid of 500 of them, just merged them with the existing ones.
Yeah, I need to do that. I got so much going on right now. I just ordered and provisioned my office Ring Central phone. We've been talking about Ring Central, and I've been so impressed with it. I figured, you know what, I don't need an office phone, but I use my cell phone for that. But I'm going to go ahead and get one anyway. So I got it. I activated it. As soon as I hang up with you, I'm going to provision it and make it work and set up the auto attendant and all the other stuff. But it's so cool, everything I can do on this. I'm excited.
Well, you know what? It's a great system. Years ago, before I had a a meaningful practice. I did have a computer program that ran off of a computer that I had in my front office that offered me all of those bells and whistles and all of that technology and all that stuff. And it was wonderful because all of a sudden I didn't have to pay anybody to answer the phone. It would automatically answer the phone, ask them where they wanted, give them directions to any number of different departments that we had, made me look like I was AT&T. Well, you don't like them. It made me look like I was T-Mobile, and it was fantastic. You're gonna absolutely love this program, I guarantee you. It sounds very much like the one I had years ago, except it's probably technologically advanced.
Well, I mean, it does so much more. You think about phones, but it's basically a cloud phone system. It's a workforce collaboration tool. It's a contact center. It's a developer platform. It's a global office. Anywhere you plug this phone in, it works. It integrates with Outlook, Oracle, Zendesk, Box, Google, Salesforce, pretty much everybody. And it also gives you the ability on the cheap plan, the inexpensive, the $28 plan, to share your screen with 4 people simultaneously.
Oh, really?
So anybody which is fantastic for webinars and what have you. On the bigger plans, you get 25 people you can collaborate with. And what I really like about it, Robert, is it has something called GLIP. And GLIP is it's one of the features on Ring Central, and it's like it's a mailbox. And in that mailbox, all of your Ring Central communication comes in there. So let's say that you call me and you leave me a message because I didn't take the phone. There's going to be a text message. It's voice to text in there with your message. If you want to send me an SMS, you can send me an SMS. It's going to be in that same box. If you did a video call, if you do anything you do, I can see it's one place that every conversation, every attempt to communicate is there. So it's one quick place to see everything. It's pretty amazing stuff. But I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. I'll know a lot more about it once I play with it. I've sold about 4 or 5 different businesses these systems, and they keep getting back with me raving about them. So I figured, I got to try this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, instead of using your voice, you need to use your wife's voice so that there's somebody.
My daughter's voice. I've already had breakfast with her this morning. I already told her I need you to come over. I need you to set up my auto attendant. I need you, because these things make you look like you're a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
So you got to work it.
So all you got to do is, get your scripting and everything done, all the different scripts that you want, and hand them to your daughter. Let her rehearse a couple of them a couple of times, and let her have at it.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. And I imagine about now we're probably running low on time, so I'm
got a minute.
I should probably get out my.
Got a minute and a half.
Well, there we go. Okay, everything we're going to talk about after the break is going to be found on our website at www.drwireless.com /blog in most cases. Also, we'll be on Facebook /drwireless. And any questions anybody might have can be addressed to Joel at drwireless.com. When we come back, I got some pretty amazing stuff we're going to talk about.
Sounds fantastic. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away. You got too much to miss.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, and he's got lots of, I was going to say he's loaded with information, and he is, but he's got lots of stuff that he wants to give you right now. And all you got to do is go to his website. And what is that, Joel?
www.D as in David, R as in Rabbit, wireless.com, drwireless.com.
All right, so what's going on? You got the microphone, my friend.
All right. Well, we were talking about ransomware a while back, and we had a college in Canada got hacked, and we had the Hollywood Presbyterian hospital got hacked, and the latest one is Los Angeles College reportedly paid hackers $28,000 ransom.
Wow.
So apparently they were cyber attacked and kept the students and faculty locked out of their accounts until they paid. And I guess Philip Lieberman, a cybersecurity expert, told CBS Los Angeles that the school didn't have any choice. There was really not much of an option. The hackers are based in Eastern Europe, and the U.S. doesn't do business with these countries.
So what happens? You pay the $28,000. They give you the key to unlock it, and then 30 days from now they hit you again.
Well, that's why you got to resecure yourself once that happens.
Man.
But that's an issue that has been really bad, and apparently that Eastern Europe is really big on this, as Trump and Hillary know all too well.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Crazy stuff. Other stuff going on. There's a really neat phone. I don't know if we've talked about this in the past, but I posted something on our Facebook page, and I think it's worth looking at. Apple is complaining that all of these Chinese phones are starting to look like iPhones, And when you think about it, you know, when Apple's buying their processors from Samsung, they're buying their displays from Sharp. And Sharp was recently purchased by Foxconn. And they're buying, and they're having Foxconn, which is a Taiwanese company, put everything together. So it's basically Chinese components being put together in Taiwan. And you wonder how and why China would all of a sudden be offering Androids for $250 that spec out the same as the iPhone 7 Plus.
Wow.
I don't know if you've seen it, but there's this model that Huawei makes, and it's amazing. It's got the same specs as the iPhone 7 Plus. It's called the Huawei Honor 6X, and it's got 3 gigabytes of RAM. It's got an octa-core processor, a 12 megapixel, it's got a dual rear camera set up, same as the iPhone. The only difference is they utilize, I think, Carl Zeiss optics. I don't know if it's Huawei or there's 2 companies that use Carl Zeiss optics. But remarkable device, $250.
Joel,
you can buy this thing on Prime, on Amazon Prime for $250. Comes with 32 gigabytes. It's a dual lens, 12 megapixel rear camera, plus 2 megapixel.
So if it's a knockoff like that, does that mean you can use all of the Apple apps in that thing?
No, because it's only a knockoff of Apple's features as far as, you know, the processors and the cameras, and it's Android. So you know, you're using Google Android. It's just when you look at the actual processor, you know, it's just, you know, and the cameras and the aperture range and everything else, you're looking at a device that will perform very much like a $769 iPhone that's only costing you $250.
Wow. I mean, that's
so for somebody who wants the most bang for the buck and can't afford $770, here's a phone that's going to give you a lot of the same features. It's not an Apple, it's not an iPhone, but it's got a similar camera, processor, memory. It's a nice device.
You know what? Yeah, it sounds like. I mean, that's not even a matter of you can't afford to get the most expensive one. Now it's a matter of it's not going to make a lot of sense for people to get the more expensive one.
No, it's going to make people reevaluate. You know, do they really want a top-of-the-line Apple product?
Except that, you know what? But Joel, we get right back to that same conversation that we have over and over and over again, and that is the security safety of an iPhone.
Absolutely. And we talked about one time where at one point a couple years ago, you know, all those flashlight applications that the Android used to have, there was like maybe 3 pages worth of different flashlight apps in the Android Play Store, and apparently 90% of them had malware and had to be removed. And you know, it's suspicious when you have a flashlight app and it wants you to enable all of your contacts.
Oh yeah, why does a flashlight want that?
Exactly. So you're right, Apple. It's very difficult for these bad guys to push something by Apple as far as malware. It happens now and then. But, you know, it is a good thing. It's safer for us as consumers to not have to worry about downloading something that got by Google. They're not as stringent as Apple when it comes to inspecting. So anyhow, Apple is becoming a little bit, I don't want to say irrelevant, but at the Consumer Electronics Show, they haven't showed up since 1992. And there's a lot of neat stuff going on over there. And there's a lot of Chinese phones that are just phenomenal. The new Motorola's are amazing. They're made by Lenovo, Chinese company. So we'll have to see, but I have a feeling the new iPhone's going to have to be pretty amazing when it does come out later this year.
Yeah, you know what? They need to come up with something technologically different It's time for them to shake, rattle, and roll here a little bit. Instead of having the same old thing, instead of making the phone a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, a little bit wider, a little bit faster, they need to come up with something new and unique. And I don't know what that's going to be, but we need some innovation here.
Well, I know what one of the things is going to be, which kind of got leaked out, not by Apple but by Carl Zeiss. Mm-hmm. I know what they're working on right now is they're working together with Carl Zeiss on augmented reality. And,
really? Did you go? Yeah. Did you go to the Consumer Electronics show?
I didn't. I used to go to all of them, and I'm so over those these days that I have friends that go, and I always pick their brain.
I saw this
for years and years.
Yeah, I saw this thing on TV. It was some kind of a documentary thing, and they were highlighting these reality headsets that were going on. They looked unbelievable for the virtual reality headsets.
Exactly. Well, what they're saying is, unlike virtual reality, which promises, to immerse Google-wearing users in new and exciting digital worlds, the augmented reality overlays images and data atop the real world. So that's pretty much the difference. So they're saying that the augmented reality is way more realistic, and with Carl Zeiss, they're optics specialists.
Yeah.
So I got to think, the same way, Leica's making cameras, with some of these manufacturers, Zeiss is going to do the same thing. They were collaborating with Sony Ericsson on some of their cameras at one point. But I always, like to have, I like to see collaborations, with companies that really know what they're doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting. So let's figure that there's a very good possibility that we may be seeing augmented reality glasses available for this new device.
Wow, yeah. You know what? They need to do something. They need, well, you know what? Or do they? There's so many bells and whistles now on our smartphones, if we can still call them that. I guess they're not really smartphones anymore. They're just downright computers that we hold in our hands or our pockets. But there's so many bells and whistles now. I don't know about you. I don't use hardly any of them, or at least if I am using them, I'm not even aware of it. It's just got so many things in it that you can't utilize them all.
Well, there's a lot. I think what happened is this. I think Samsung got sufficiently ahead of Apple as far as innovation, and I'm talking about wireless charging and stuff like that. And, I think, Apple was in big trouble until these Note 7 started exploding. And I think at that point, Apple figured, okay, we can slow down a little bit and regroup and be cautious in what we do, because it looks like Samsung, was just trying to get the lead with reckless abandon and obviously had a misstep with these exploding devices. They lost a lot of client share, and I think at this point, people are not as inclined to want to go out and grab the latest next technology without it being tested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody wants their back pocket to explode.
Well, you know what? You have always said you never wanted to be the first guy on the block with that new technology or the new phone or the new thing. And when it comes to Samsung right now, that makes a whole lot of sense.
I want to Google and read all about that guy. I don't want to be him.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything else that I missed I wanted to talk about. I did hear that Apple, this is very unusual, but Apple convinced Consumer Reports to retest their MacBook Pro's battery. And remember we talked about this? There were some issues about the MacBook Pro's battery, and people were complaining that it was inaccurate. So Apple's original solution was to remove the battery indicator to LEDs on
yes.
Well, apparently Apple did some further testing and determined there was an obscure bug that was causing this battery issue. So allegedly it's been corrected. And they contacted Consumer Reports. This was the first time that Consumer Reports did not endorse a MacBook Pro model. It's never happened before, and it was because of this glitch. And apparently they contacted Consumer Reports and who agreed to give the new MacBook Pro a second look after Apple uncovered the bug and addressed it.
So
I haven't seen the results yet, but Apple was saying that it was an obscure bug causing the problem. They've rectified it, and they're sure that Consumer Reports is going to give them a glowing recommendation as usual.
Well, that's
something to look at. Anybody who's had problems with their new MacBooks, battery related, this is something to know about.
Well, you know what? And for me, it's really all about, it's either the battery or the memory, and the speed. It's one of those three things. Those are the things that are important to me. Do I have enough memory? Do I have enough speed? And do I have enough battery life? And that's anything else, I don't care. It would be.
I'm having a few weird issues myself right now. I haven't been able to troubleshoot, and one of which is on one of my computers with the Mac Mail. I cannot send email. I cannot reply or send.
Oh, really?
It has nothing to do with SMTP outbound. It won't even give me an open window when I click reply or send.
Can you cancel everything out of it and reinstitute the whole thing?
No, what happens is it ends up freezing up, and I have to cancel the app. I can receive email. I can do everything until I try to reply or initiate a new email, and it's the darndest thing. So the weird thing is it's on one computer, so I've isolated it to one computer.
How many, just out of curiosity, Joel, how many different systems and phones do you use at the same time?
I have 4, at the same time, usually just 2. I have 4 computers in my office. I have one old Windows computer that has a version of QuickBooks, like 2012 or something. And
that only runs on that, right?
Exactly. I can't download it on the new one. They wanted me to pay a couple $100 for the new version. I'm content with the old version. It does what I need to do. It invoices, and it allows me to do my credit card billing. So I've kept this computer just for QuickBooks. I don't do anything else on it. It's ancient, an old Dell. So that just sits around waiting to do my QuickBooks. I got a MacBook Pro, which is my to-go one. I've got a 30 or 42-inch desktop VGA screen. I have an iMac hooked up to here, and then I have a new Dell. And then in the living room, I got a 55-inch Mitsubishi with an iMac hooked up to that, but that's more of an home entertainment.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, 2 computers, a desktop in my office, iMac, and a MacBook Pro.
Okay, and then
I have my Windows when I have to do Windows.
And then you talk about all these different phones. Do these companies actually provide you phones for a test basis so that you can actually evaluate them?
Funny you mentioned that. They sure used to. I was just going over some old paperwork, cleaning my office, and I found something from BlackBerry, from RIM, thanking me for evaluating one of their phones and offering me a free BlackBerry 7, I think it was. But in the old days, yes, Palm used to do that. BlackBerry used to do that. BlackBerry was very good at doing that. And I'm still waiting for Apple for my first iPhone.
Don't hold your breath, my friend. Hey,
no, they don't know who I am, and that's fine. I'll stay under the radar with them.
So listen, give out that contact information. We've got about 30 seconds.
All right. Everything we talked about today can be found at www.drwireless.com/blog or at Facebook/drwireless. Anybody with questions can get me at joel@drwireless.com.
Hey, Joel, have a terrific weekend. Hope you can get your toes wet a number of times before I talk to you again next Wednesday.
Hope you don't get your toes wet.
Yeah, me too.
With all the rain we're going to get. Take care.
All right, buddy. You take care and stay safe, stay dry. And the rest of you folks, stick around, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless fact. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time, currently 60 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 46 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in Sydney, Australia, well, it's 77 degrees. And it's overcast. And if you're in Auckland, Australia, it's 77 degrees and partly cloudy. But right now, we're having some problem with the Harvard Business Tip information coming in. So we're going to move right to the secret daily teaching for your life. And this is all about a positive mental attitude. We tell you that all the time. I'm not going to go through this whole thing because you hear me talk about it all the time. I want to tell you, though, the secret for today is beliefs about aging are all in our minds. So release those thoughts from your consciousness. Focus on health and eternal youth. Think about that. That is a phenomenal outlook on life. Well, you know what today is. Sure you do. I do. You do. Everybody does. It is Wednesday. It is January the 11th, and it is somebody's birthday. And we've got some terrific birthdays for you today. So you know what? We're going to just get right to them, and we're going to see if we can't get a little out a little bit early for our commercial break, because our rest of the story is a little bit longer than usual. So let's talk about our birthdays for today. A fellow born in 1942, known by fans as the big man. He's been a prominent member of Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, playing the saxophone. Know who it is? Sure. Happy birthday, Clarence Clemens. And somebody born 1971, a singer, winner of 9 Grammy Awards, and sold over 48 million records. Happy birthday, Mary J. Blige. And then finally, an actress who was named one of people's 50 most beautiful. Happy birthday to Amanda Peet. Yes, absolutely. Well, I know you're wondering what happened today in history, because you wonder every day. Well, sit down, relax, and let me tell you. On this day in history, January the 11th, 1878, milk is first delivered in bottles. Give that a thought. And in 1908, Grand Canyon National Monument was created. Yeah, can you imagine? It was actually in the last century. God, isn't that amazing? And how about this? In 1922, the very first use of insulin to treat diabetes in a human patient took place in 1922. And then finally, on January the 11th, 1964, U.S. Surgeon General Luther Terry published his report saying that smoking may be hazardous to your health. Boy, he was before his time, wasn't he? How about this? Our quote for today comes from Charles Schulz. You know who that is. Well, Charles says, try not to have a good time. This is supposed to be educational. Oh, by the way, in case you don't know who Charles Schulz was, you know who Peanuts was. Sure. Well, let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. We've got a couple of them for you, so let me get to them. First off, did you know that in Belgium, there is a museum that is just for strawberries? Yeah, you heard me right. You got it. And then it was Swiss chemist Jacques Edwin Brandenburger who invented cellophane. You know when? Well, back in 1908. Cellophane. Yeah, absolutely. And then there are more telephones than people in Washington, D.C. Now, yesterday, we talked about Le Fond, who designed Washington, D.C. Remember that? Yeah. How about this one? In the NHL, the National Hockey League, in 1960, the league decided that home teams would wear white, while visiting teams would wear their dark jerseys. Now, the reasoning behind this was that it would be more difficult to keep white uniforms clean while on the road. There, keep that going. How about this? There are about 2 chickens in every human in the world. There are about 2 chickens for every human in the world. Wow. So, about 14 billion chickens. I guess that makes it. And then let me leave you with this one. Breath by Samuel Beckett was first performed in April 1970. The play lasts 30 seconds, has no actors, and no dialogue. Give that some thought. Put it in your smoke and pipe it. Now, don't go away, folks. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And today's story is Androcles Revisited. You don't want to miss it. It's really good. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:51 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 60 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 46 degrees. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Hong Kong, China, well, you know what? It's 68 degrees and it's raining. And I think it'll be raining here pretty soon, too. But you know what? If you're lucky enough to be there and you're listening to our show in Lisbon, Portugal, well, it's 52 degrees and it is clear. But right now, I want you to get ready, hang on, get settled. We're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Yes, sir. You know, the American Broadcasting Company calls him the biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week, millions of listeners, viewers, and readers would await his unraveling of the mysteries of events in the lives of people past and present. Heard on over 1,400 radio stations, seen on over 110 television stations, and read in 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising. Well, our story for today is Androcles Revisited. You know, a century ago, not quite 40 miles from the city of Paris, was the forest of Fontainebleau. That resplendent woodland was a mecca for young artists in search of subject matter, a magical place of pure inspiration where friendly deer nuzzled passerby and undisturbed foliage grew up in grand design. There was as nowhere else on earth, playful lights and shadows teased the eye. Among the enthralled artistic pilgrims was an aspiring painter in his early 20s, Pierre. Now, many times Pierre made the 2-day walk from Paris to forest of Fontainebleau just to set up his easel and canvas in the quiet. One day, the woods were more quiet than usual. The birds were silent. The deer did not come as so often before to beg a crust of bread or to watch Pierre's brush and ballet. Soon, Pierre learned why. There was a stranger in the glade. A dazed, ragged, mud-spattered stranger stumbling through the tall grass as though he had been pursued by the devil himself. A desperate voice called to Pierre, shattering the stillness. "Please help me," it said. "I'm dying of hunger." The intruder fairly collapsed at the young artist's feet. Between gulps of water and bread, his story unfolded. His name was Raoul Rigaud. He was a journalist who had opposed in print France's authoritarian government, and now he was being hunted by imperial authorities. It had been a narrow escape. They had surprised him at his apartment. He had made it out a window into the balcony of the apartment adjoining his. Now, through that window and down a flight of stairs and into the street and into a departing train, it had all happened so fast. Next thing he knew, Raoul was wandering aimlessly through the dense forest, the forest of Fontainebleau. That was days ago. Now he was exhausted, starving. He would give himself up. Pierre listened sympathetically. No, declared the young artist, Raoul would not surrender to the authorities. He would stay right there in the woods and wait while Pierre fetched a disguise. There was a village nearby. Pierre would find an artist's smock and a painting kit, and before sundown, Raoul Rigaud would be just another artist visitor to the forest of Fontainebleau. Raoul remained at Pierre's side for several weeks until the journalist's friends in Paris could be notified. The friends then made arrangements for Raoul to flee France safely. The parting of Pierre and Raoul was bittersweet. Tears of gratitude filled the fugitive's eyes as he shook Pierre's hand for the last time. "It had been for you," he started to say. Then he turned and was gone. A number of years passed. Now it was the spring of 1871, only weeks before Napoleon III had been officially deposed. The revolutionary commune had seized power in Paris. Pierre, just 30, was in Paris too. He was painting on the banks of the Seine one day when some National Guardsmen stopped to look at his work. The command soldiers were quiet at first, but as Pierre continued to paint, he heard them muttering to each other. Suddenly, one of the soldiers snatched Pierre's unfinished canvas from its easel. Pierre was fooling no one. The guardsman said Pierre was a spy for the Versailles forces, and this so-called painting was proof. But it was a painting, Pierre protested. What possible threat could a mere painting pose to the Paris Commune? The soldier's gaze was stern. "What do you see here?" he asked his comrades, thrusting Pierre's canvas before them. "A picture, yes, but a picture of what?" Another guardsman spoke up. Obviously, it was a secret plan, a diagram of the Seine area showing vulnerable points and strategic locations to guide the Versailles troops. "An aid to the enemy," shouted another. By now, a small crowd had gathered on the riverbank. Who was this Pierre? They wanted to know. A spy for Versailles? Then throw him in the Seine, drown him. But Communard law provided for a more orderly disposal of spies. The soldiers placed Pierre under arrest, led him off down the street toward the town hall of the 6th arrondissement. There, a firing squad was on permanent duty to handle such matters. The angry crowd followed, crying out for Pierre's death. Within 100 steps, their numbers had increased to mob proportions. "Kill him!" they shouted in terrifying cadence. "Kill him!" At the vortex of this human maelstrom was poor Pierre. He was not a spy. He was but a young artist trying to make his way in life. And soon, it seemed his way was to end. At the town hall, Pierre's trial and conviction proved little more than a nod from the captain in charge. Down in the square, the firing squad waited. The mob chanted. As Pierre was being led, his hands bound behind him, to the place where he was to die, he returned in his mind to the forest of Fontainebleau. He patted the gazing deer and watched the sunlight dance on the morning dew. If this world were to pass, perhaps the next would be more like the one in his secret heart. But when Pierre opened his eyes, it was not to see a line of raised rifles. It was to see the communard public prosecutor pushing his way through the crowd. He was a grand sight indeed, dressed in full uniform and tricolor sash, and the soldiers in his attendance were equally magnificent. Moments later, the public prosecutor and Pierre were standing face to face. "Surely you remember me," said the prosecutor, and he embraced the young artist. For the high communard official who had just happened to be passing the square was none other than Raoul Regard, the one-time political fugitive from Pierre had rescued in the forest of Fontainebleau. The attitude of the onlookers inverted at the sight of Raoul's embrace, and a great cheer came forth from the crowd. Raoul demanded Pierre's release, after which he escorted the young artist to the town hall balcony overlooking the square. "Let us sing the Marseillaise for our comrade," cried Raoul, and the people sang. Pierre was given a pass to travel and to paint wherever he wished, and as his adventure drew to a close, his life began anew. Once upon a time, according to legend, there was a Roman slave named Androcles who pulled a thorn from a lion's paw, later sentenced to death. Androcles met that same lion in the arena. Out of gratitude, the hungry beast refused to devour Androcles, and the slave's much impressed captors set him free. Well, Pierre felt that this was his real life reenactment of that ancient fiction. For it was a moment of thoughtfulness, a good deed, which acted indirectly upon his destiny, which blossomed to bestow upon the world, the whole world, a genius that might otherwise have consigned himself to oblivion. The fathomless depths of shadow and light, the everlasting art of Pierre Auguste Renoir. And now you know the rest of the story. Well, on my next show, Sean LaFave is going to be here to talk about healthcare on the Geared for Wellness Corner. I'm going to continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And the story tomorrow is going to be McKeeby's portrait. You're not going to want to miss that. I want to tell everybody to please tell your friends to listen to my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. You'll be glad they did. They'll be glad you did. And I'll be glad you did.
Our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.